Hi everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about landmarks, but before we do, we just want to remind you to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see our live videos as they come out. Alright, Landmarks is designed by Dalino Valentin and Rodrigo Rego, and it is published by Floodgate Games.
Alright, so this is a cooperative game. It can be played competitively, but we're mainly talking about the cooperative version of the game that is basically a word association game, but it doesn't just take place just by associating words. There's a map that we're trying to fill out, trying to get as many treasures as possible, leading people to the exits. One person knows the clues and is giving the clues. Everyone else is just trying to come up with the best solution, trying to figure out where to place those clues as they've been given to them. Alright, let me give you a quick overview of how to play. Here is our setup for landmarks. So we're going to take one of these cards. There's a whole deck of these. We're going to shuffle them up, take one of the cards, and we're going to put it on our stand so that only we can see it. We're going to find the three words at the bottom there. We're going to write those on these hex tiles, and we're going to place them in the configuration on the board. In order to match up the card to the map, we're going to find that little north arrow and that north arrow there. So that way we're kind of always communicating in the right way so we know where everything connects to. So the words that we were given were skate, arm, and worm. Basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to navigate this map in order to find as many gems as possible and then eventually escape. How do we move around this map? Well, we as the clue giver who has seen this card, we're going to give out clues that give away the positions on the board. So for instance, on this map, this little green thing right here, this is called an amulet. This amulet is going to give us the ability to get rid of a curse. Now the curses are over here in the red. We want to try to avoid those curses. But if we run into a curse, if we have one of those amulets, we'll be able to at least avoid one of the curses. There's no actual tokens. We keep track of all of our things that we've run into over here on our board. If we were trying to touch that amulet, we might give the clue of noodle. So everyone's going to look at the board, they're going to try to figure out what spot touching one of those tiles most fits the accurate clue of noodle. So maybe you're thinking it's a combination of worm and arm. Okay, perfect. We're going to put that exactly in that spot. Now, was that what I was actually intending? It doesn't matter. Wherever you think it goes, that's where it goes. And then you resolve that. So in this case, we did touch the amulet where we wanted. We're going to cross that off on our board. So now we have more words on the board, more clues that we can kind of build off of. Let's say we just wanted to exit right away. Now technically that is a win. There are a variety of ways that the game can end. First off, you can run out of water, which is our tiles. So that's a bad thing. Or what you can do is you can run into curses without having amulets to protect you. Or you can win by exiting. But if you really want to challenge yourself and get the best possible, score, feel-good score, you can get as many of the treasures as possible and then exit. But since this is just an example, let's just try to figure out how to escape. According to our map here, the exit spot is right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a clue that only refers to noodle and nothing else. So we might say something like rotini. So rotini is a kind of noodle that is not shaped like a worm. It's not shaped like an arm. So people are going to put it probably either in this spot or this spot. This spot is a neutral spot. This would be blank. Nothing would happen if we went there. But hopefully they'd go here, in which case we have exited. Now, we have not found any of the treasures. It's technically a win. We've survived. But what you really want to do is you want to try to fill out the board as much as possible, getting all these little yellow treasures along the way. It can be very, very challenging. You're also going to come across water. When you come across water, what that allows you to do is it allows you to fill up your water limit, adding some tiles from the supply to what you can use, which is going to give you more life and more clues that you can use in the future. There's also traps. Traps are a bad thing. What they're going to do is they're going to cause you to get rid of a tile, and it's going to also lower your water limit. So next time you come across some water, you're going to get only up to 6 now instead of 7. There's a whole bunch of those easy modes, but on top of that, there's a whole deck of the hard mode that allows you to kind of have more treasures on the board, more water that you can find, but also more traps and more curses. So that's the hard mode. But on top of that, on the opposite side of this board, this allows for you there to be team play. You have a team board as well as a whole deck of team cards. The team cards look like this. There are 2 different colors of teams, green and blue. They're going to be on the board here, and you're going to try to get as many clues of your color as possible before the game ends. There's also some yellow neutral clues, some neutral gems. Those are going to give you points. So you're trying to get your team to get in the right direction to get as many of those clues as possible, get as many gems as possible. The team with the most gems wins.
So this is a word association game, and that can be so fun and challenging when you're trying to build, because sometimes, like, I'm just going to give this example. We were playing a game and somehow I got on this time clock kick, and I was trying to get Ryan to get in one spot, but I couldn't figure out something that didn't connect to the other clues that I had already given, even though I was trying to get him to just do the one spot. And so it was so challenging to be able to try to come up with something like that. But that's how the game plays. It's because you're using these two words to figure out this one, right? And now you want to go here. But this might also still relate to this because these work together too, because that's how you got this word. And so it's so fun to see like how you have to creatively not connect to things you already connected to get your teammates to build out. That was very challenging, but very fun.
I think that another way that makes your brain work when you're the clue giver is you're looking at the map and you can see where the treasures are, and you know what the map to get there is, what's the easiest path to get to these treasures, get to the exit, whatever the case is. But it's not always the easiest path as far as what the clues are going to be. So you might need to strategically do extra clues, maybe even intentionally hitting a trap or a curse, just so that you can kind of then build a leg out so that you can kind of go out from there. So it's really interesting how you have to come up with, be able to take some hits, I guess, along the way. But your teammates don't know that because you can't talk about that. So there's like, why did you just lead us into a trap? That was obviously the right answer, and you just led us to a trap. I'm like, yeah, but the treasure's right there.
We're so close.
So I think that was a fun way to think about this and a fun way to have to play the game. It's kind of a necessity at some points to do bad stuff in order to make things happen.
I know this is a really simple thing, but I really liked it. So the board that you're keeping track of everything in is also a dry erase board, and you could have used the different things, cards where you're twisting them to count how much, tokens, or a track board. But I really like that it's already the dry erase game with the words that you're putting on the board. So I like that they just kept that all the same instead of trying to add different components for that. It doesn't affect the gameplay at all. I just liked how it was smooth and seamless in that way.
I think this is a fun spectator kind of a game.
Oh, yeah.
You can definitely start the night off with this, end the night off with this. People can bow out when they need to. They can join in halfway through. And it's just fun just to watch because you can still kind of be thinking about what you would, where you would put a clue. Because it's one of those games where you don't have to know the full game. You can just kind of look at the game state and then participate. So if you hear a clue and you see the words that are out there and you're like, oh, if it were me, I'd put it right there. And you can jump in and participate just like that. So it's a great party game in that aspect. Well, the thinkiness isn't necessarily a party game, but the way that you can participate is party-ish.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get that.
There's also, if you're want to play it this way, there's a team mode. This is the competitive mode where you have two separate teams. There's a separate deck of cards that you use, and they have all the same traps and things like that laid out, but you have two separate sets of gems, two separate sets of treasures based off of what team you are, as well as some neutral treasures as well. So it's definitely a race to get those neutral treasures and try to achieve as many of your treasures as possible. But it's one board still. It's still one shared board that everyone's using, and you don't keep track of who plays what word. So if I'm the blue team and I cover up a green treasure, green still gets it, even though I'm the one who covered it up. So you have to kind of avoid those if you can in order to plow ahead.
Oh my gosh, everybody. I loved this game. I had so much fun. We were laughing like the entire time we were playing. I was yelling, telling Ryan that he doesn't know how to think like me, which is very true. We're very bad at playing these games. We played this game back to back to back to back until we finally won, but we had so much fun. Even when we did lose, it was like, I wasn't mad that we lost because it was really difficult and it was hard to play, but in such a fun way. And I feel like there's a lot of us out there who, 5-6 years ago, maybe overplayed Codenames, and you still have it because it's good, but like you don't actually want to play it anymore. You don't have to worry about that anymore. This, I feel like, is a Codenames killer. I feel like this could easily replace that in your library. I got the exact same feelings. You can play that team version where, in Codenames where if somebody guesses your clue, you still get that, and how if you cover up the opponent's treasure, then the opponent gets that. And so I just really, really liked this. I had so much fun. I liked that it played two players very well, or that you can play teams. I enjoyed every minute of this.
I 100% agree. I think this is going to be a game that's easier to table than Codenames is at this point.
Yeah.
Codenames, I'll still play it, but this is what it'd be I prefer this much more. And I hate to even compare it to Codenames because that's not fair to either
but it's
game.
It's a word association game.
But because of that, it's going to get brought. It's inevitable to get brought up, and there are some similarities. But this, to me, is so much more dynamic, more fun.
Yes.
You're coming up with different kinds of
yes.
clues. The way that it actually uses a spatial aspect as well as using the word association part of it. I enjoy being the clue giver a whole lot. That's my favorite part of this game, is giving the clues. And then even if it's wrong and it still gets placed down on the board, it's like, okay, I've got to pivot now, and it's going to be tough because I just painted myself into a corner that's just not advantageous. But I like that challenge. It makes my brain work just the right amount. Landmarks is a ton of fun.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see all our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
Guys, thanks for watching. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.